Well, baby, what's it gonna be? Are you gonna marry me, the love of your life? Or are you gonna run off with this stranger who you just met 2 seconds ago on an African safari adventure?
I choose the adventure, Jack Colton.
Oh. Rude? Jewel of the Nile, released in 1985 and is directed by Louis Teague, who's also directed such films like Alligator, Cat's Eye, Cujo, The Dukes of Hazzard Reunion, and Navy SEALs. And this film is starring Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito. It's been 6 months after the events of Romancing the Stone, and Joan Wilder and Jack Colton's relationship has already grown stale. Jack just wants to keep sailing down the coast without a care in the world, while Joan struggles to finish her next book and she is overdue. While at a party, Joan meets Omar Khalifa, who is an Arab ruler who wants Joan to come with him to his kingdom to write his story. And Joan quickly decides to go with him and leave Jack behind. But it turns out that the Arab ruler actually wants to murder Jack, and after Jack bumps into Ralph, played by Danny DeVito, they decide to follow Joan and Omar to try to save her. And in the meantime, there's this other Arab tribe who catches up with Jack and Ralph, and they're like, you're gonna help us get the Jewel of the Nile. And they're like, oh, a jewel. Yeah, we're gonna go after it. And also my fiance slash girlfriend, who I also love, but the jewel too. But it turns out that the Jewel of the Nile is not an actual jewel. It's a person who Omar already has imprisoned, and he's trying to convince the people of the Arab nation that he's the new jewel of the Nile. Like, he has all of these biblical spiritual abilities or something. So he hires a special effects artist and he holds a pep rally. He holds a pep rally with his people, and he's going to try to convince everyone through basically a magic show and sleight of hand that he also has the Jewel of the Nile power. This plot is as ridiculous as I'm making it out to be, I promise. Now, I know this is a sequel to Romancing the Stone, which I remember watching a long time ago when I was a kid. It was probably at the age where I would watch movies and not fully comprehend what was happening, especially when we got to the adult films like PG-13 and higher. But I do remember enjoying that film, and from what I read up, a lot of people find it favorable. But that's the fun thing about this channel, is that when I don't have any PayPal recommendations sent over, I select randomly from the movies that I have behind me. This one pops up, so if I haven't seen the first one, or if it's been a while since I've seen the first one, and I'm watching the sequel for this review, I'm going in blind. I'm going in blind, baby. So that's what happened here. And I feel like this movie, like many other sequels, especially from the 80s, because they need to establish plot and they want to go down the same plot that they had in the first film, I feel like this movie started off by completely undoing everything that the end of the first film set up. This movie starts out and Joan and Jack are already annoyed with each other. Like, their relationship, only 6 months ago that they started dating, and after the events of Romancing the Stone, it's already gone stale. Like, okay, yeah, this was fun, but, you know, what are we gonna do for bills? What are we gonna do for a place? Let's get some stability in our lives. And Jack doesn't want to do that. He just wants to keep sailing and traveling the world. So right away in the beginning, I'm thinking, okay, so if these two people's relationship is this fragile, and they break up, why am I going to care and want them to get back together again? Because I know if this movie goes on to a third one, that it's just going to be the same thing. They're going to get bored of each other after 6 months, and then we're going to start a whole brand new adventure. Because Joan needs to keep her ideas flowing so that she can write her books and things. That's all I wrote for my review on Letterboxd after watching this movie. It's just, I feel that this film undid everything that Romancing the Stone did and was great and praised for. And then not to mention the Arab exploitation, and I'm sure the blackface and whitewashing of a bunch of those characters. I guarantee that happened. But then also the terrible terrible green screen effects that we were getting in the climax of this movie when the Jewel of the Nile is walking through the fire. Just wow. And I get that it was the 80s and visual effects, CGI is just kind of getting started and it's kind of becoming an idea. But holy crap. If you found it entertaining in the 80s, cool. Here in 2024, I mean, that's school shit that a 5th grader could probably do better on his iPhone. There are two things that are keeping me entertained throughout this film, and one of them is the chemistry between Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas. I think that they play off of each other well. They have great chemistry on screen with each other. They can banter. They can have dialogue between the two, and it feels natural. It feels like they are a couple. You feel like there is some type of infatuation there. And from what I remember, that's what was so charming about the first one, is their relationship. So it's nice to see that it continues here. The second one is Danny DeVito as Ralph. He's the comedic character. He's the comedic pratfally relief of this film, and I can't help but just think of not him as this character of Ralph. I feel like he's just playing Frank, an early version of Frank from Always Sunny in Philadelphia in this movie. He's riding camels and he's back talking, and I'm just hearing Frank. Frank is like the trash man in Always Sunny, and he's throwing the dumpster and everything. Those two aspects are keeping me entertained. For the most part here, though, it's just long, it's drawn out, and it feels like it's repetitive, even though, again, I haven't seen the first one in so long, so I don't know all of the beats, but just watching this film, it feels like a copy and paste job, even though I don't know where the copy and paste came from. Just me being a former teacher, like, I can tell when something is plagiarized. It's pretty easy to see. This film feels like a copy and paste job. I'm gonna give Jewel of the Nile 1.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
So guys, if you've seen Jewel of the Nile, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell to see you the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel. But in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.